Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. Please tell me how you're doing out of 10 in the chat if you can hear me and see me. What's going on? Please don't type in 1. 8. 2. Damn, you're 2.2? That's terrible. That's terrible. But hey, you know, sometimes you got to go through darkness in order to find the light. I think somebody said that, right? Abraham Lincoln? I don't fucking know. Okay, let's get started, everybody. This is going to be a really fun lab. I'm actually very excited about this one. We've never done this sort of session in the history of nights and weekends, actually. And I don't know why. I don't know why we've never done it. I guess we've never really had the time, or we never really knew where to put it. But here we are in week 4, and I think that this is the right time to talk about this particular topic, which is adapting to feedback. And 1 second, let me just make your chat a little bit bigger here. Boop, boop. Cool. But we're going to talk today about adapting to feedback. And basically, what I want to really, in particular, talk about is just how to ask questions. I think a lot of you all are probably in the state where you need to talk to other people about your idea, or you probably got... We'll get more into it, but TLDR, I want to actually tell you how to ask questions and how to take the answers to those questions from other people and then use that to make your idea better. So that's what today's session is about. Cool? And I got a lot to get through today, so let's get started. And I guess the first thing I want to talk about here is, this is just funny. I just want to point out, I see a lot of funny things on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Like, y'all are a bunch of characters out there. And I saw this tweet today, or yesterday, and this guy, Jay, met this other guy literally randomly from the BuildSpace tweets. Apparently, he just walked up to him and said, "Yo, are you that guy building the farm on BuildSpace?" And it was literally him. Pretty funny, actually. Like, it's a small world. Like, it may feel like there's only like 500 or 1,000 of you here, but in reality, BuildSpace is like a lot bigger, because there's people watching the recordings. There's people from past seasons watching what you're doing, you know? In reality, BuildSpace is a lot bigger than you think, but also the world is very small. But that's just really funny. Like, imagine you walk around and someone recognizes you from your BuildSpace demo launch video. Like, that's just hilarious. So I want to start today by telling you a really funny story that I've never told actually anywhere. This is the story about how my mom got me into YC. If you all don't know what YC is like an accelerator for startups. So if you're working on like a software company, they're like a place where you can work on it. And it's generally kind of hard to get into, and they give you a bunch of money too. They give you like $150,000 to work on your idea. So I want to start by setting... Yes, like it's Y Combinator. Yes. I want to start by setting the scene. It is 2019, and I was building a product that was helping homeschoolers register their homeschool. So basically, at the time, it was a very simple software product I was building. Every state in America, there's, 50 states? Every state has different laws and regulations around homeschooling. So my product made it easier for parents to register their homeschool. And it was like a simple piece of software. And you know what's really funny is... this is where I worked when I was like in 2019. It was the garage in my mom's house, and this is like a little video. I used to always joke with my mom about like this. I was living with my parents, and I used to always work in the garage. This is that garage that I started the company at, and I would always joke with my mom that I would get a Lambo. So you know. That's what this little caption is. This is from 2019, by the way. Like, I just literally went to my Instagram store and I downloaded it. And yeah, this was very the beginnings. You know, I have that big ass fan in the background because this is Florida, by the way. I grew up in South Florida. It's fucking 96 degrees in this garage, so I bought this big ass industrial fan in the background there, which you can see. It just kept me cool. And yeah, you know, I also would show my mom my stuff all the time. So this is my mom. I would literally walk up to her all the time and start showing her stuff and get her thoughts, you know? So this is like one example video. My mom's literally in the bathroom washing her hands, and I'm like, "Yo, mom, check this out." So I would always do this with my mother, you know. I would also do shit like this, just for context. A lot of other shenanigans happening. So basically, when you're working on stuff, you get really bored sometimes, and you do stuff like that, especially when you're in your garage. I guess the main thing I want to tell you here is my mom has always been the first person to check out any idea that I've ever built. It doesn't matter if I'm making an app, a video, a blog post, an essay, literally whatever, you know? She's always been that first person that I show my idea to. And even though my mom, the thing that's interesting about my mom is she's never my target user. She's not ever my target person. I just learn a lot from my mom's responses. My mom is very disconnected from my world, you know? Like my mom is traditional Pakistani woman that isn't really that great at computers, but is really good at expressing her thoughts, you know? And I just learned a lot from my mom's responses whenever I show her anything, whether it be a tech product, whether it be a new social media I was building, whatever. And for reference, yeah, my mom grew up in a village. She's not the best at computers. And at the time, I was working on a homeschooling product, right? And she knew nothing about homeschooling. My mom had no idea what homeschooling was. Yet here I was talking to my mom all about this homeschooling thing I was working on. But honestly, at the time, I was looking for literally anyone that would give me feedback because I didn't know any parents that wanted to homeschool their kid. I was 22, 23, right? And I couldn't find any parents that wanted to homeschool their kids. So I was like, okay, at least my mom's here. Let me just ask her for her feedback. And my mom, just so you all know, can be very intense and very direct. So first I showed her my landing page and my mom would just tell me that I don't get it. And then she roasted my landing page. But then over time, I learned why. There were certain words that she didn't understand. There were certain sentences she didn't understand. And over time, my landing page became a lot better every time I showed it to my mom. Because, first time I showed her my landing page, I was like, hey, mom, this is what I'm working on. What do you think, you know? And then she would look at me and be like, Farzan, what is this? I'm busy. I gotta go, you know? And, but over time, you learn why, why did she not like my landing page? A week later, I started building some initial flows for Zip for the homeschooling products. And she said, I don't get it. Where do I click? Where do I press? What the fuck is this? And she just said they were too confusing. So again, I learned why from my mom, right? And then she roasted my pricing page. She was like, this is too expensive. Why does it cost so much? How does the pricing work? What's a subscription? It's all this stuff. Right? She's like, what if I put my credit card information in here, will you steal my credit card? How do I know you're safe? You know what I mean? So she would roast my pricing page. And again, I learned why she didn't like it. I think a lot of you all, people may roast your stuff, and they may tell you what they don't like or what they like, but you don't go deeply into the why. And I think that's what you really got to do. And many months later, she asked me the interview questions for YC. And if I didn't answer her questions properly, she would fail me. So for example, to get into YC, you have to answer questions like, what are you working on? What's your business model? How does this become $1 billion company? And if I ever answer the question in a way that my mom didn't understand, she would literally fail me. She would press the button, say stop, and say start over. And we would do this for days. And 3 months later, actually, from that point, I got my first 50 customers that got into YC. And I guess the lesson is here, my mom didn't give me any answers. Again, my mom is not even my target user, but she helped me find the answers. And I want to show you all today how anybody can potentially help you find the answers. Because you all are in a very similar spot to me, right? Where I was back then, where I'm just a person excited about an idea. And I got the first couple of people who are interested in the idea or got nobody interested in the idea. And now you got to know what to do next, right? And I think all of you at this point have gotten someone to check out your project or sign up or something, right? Almost all of you in this chat. If you haven't, well, it's time to get on that. It's time to hustle and then get in front of your parents, get in front of your brother, sister, cousin, whatever the fuck, your local sandwich maker guy, and start showing them what you're doing, because this is the most important thing. You just need to get somebody looking at what you're doing. So as you show people stuff, they'll start telling you their thoughts and answering your questions. And I want to give you an example of some stuff they may say, right? Hey, Farza, how is this different than Z or that other thing? I don't get it. How is this different? Hey, Farza, I like this actually. I would check this out more. Hey, Farza, I don't like this part of this part is really confusing. I don't understand this part, right? And I think that these are all very valid statements. And 10 years ago, I used to always take this feedback very personally, to be honest. Like, if someone told me this, like if someone said like, oh, Farza, how is this different from blah, blah, blah? I used to always take that very personally. And I used to be like, oh man, they just don't see my vision. They just don't see what I'm trying to do. They're just not my target user, In reality, all of these are actually excuses, actually. These are just you trying to make yourself feel better, usually. And in reality, it's your job to deeply investigate that feedback. It doesn't matter who the feedback is from. Doesn't matter if it's from your little brother or like your customer. It's kind of your job to take feedback and just understand it. You don't have to literally implement the feedback, but it's your job to kind of understand that feedback at least instead of brushing it off. Like, never brush off feedback. And within every person, within every person who gives your project a shot, there is a deep, deep, deep mine of information. So for example, let's say that you got 5 people on your wait list, right? Who the fuck are these 5 people? Who are they? Who was crazy enough to put their email in your wait list now? Those 5 people, like, who are they? Like, you within each of those 5 people now is a very, very deep mine of information. And the thing is, you just gotta start digging for that information. If all you do is you'd be like, oh, they signed up for my wait list, and you never talk to them and you never do anything with them, you're not going to get any new information. Like, them being on your wait list does not really serve you. What serves you is, hey, like, maybe you get in a call with one of those people who got on your wait list and you try to understand why they did that. You start digging for that information. And today, I really want to show you all how to dig for that feedback, because it's something that you are in the perfect spot for now, because you got like a idea, you got that toy, you got the thing launched. Some of you even have like a thing that literally works end to end now, and regardless of the state that you're in, it doesn't matter. I want to show you all how to get feedback based on wherever you're at. And I want to go through 2 scenarios, actually. Scenario number 1. This is kind of like my favorite scenario. This is the scenario where you're talking to a person who has no idea what you're doing, and you just want to see what they say and get some feedback. So for me, scenario 1, this is my mom. My mom generally has no idea what I'm doing, and I just want to see what she says and get some feedback. Right? So this is the first scenario I want to go through. So how do you all, go through this scenario? Like, maybe, like, what do you do from here? Like, let's say you got something, and what do you do from there? Like, let's say you got somebody in front of you who could potentially give you some feedback. Like, what do you do next, actually? I'm curious what you all do. Ask if they pay for your app? No. Set up a call? Okay, let's just assume we're already in the call, for sure. Let's assume we're already in the call. Let's assume we're already in front of them. Pitch them? No. Improve the message? No. Show it to them? Okay, yes. Collect feedback? I'm not sure what that means. Show them the product? I like that. Have a list of questions? I don't think you need a list of questions. Show them the toy? Show them a small part of something. I love these. What do you think this does? Good question. What they don't like? Okay, sure. So I'll tell you right now, in the early days, I think one thing I'm seeing right now, by the way, is a lot of you are saying that you can't find your first people. To be honest with you, in the early days, you got to get literally anyone. Your friend, your mom, again, the local guy or girl that makes your sandwich, whatever. People try way too hard in the early days to try to find the right person. But to be honest, like, you find the right person over many weeks, like your target person. I think beggars can't be choosers, and work with the folks that you just have around you, that are down to that have some patience, and then will actually give you some 5-10 minutes of their time. So now that the person's in front of you, now what, right? And I saw some beautiful answers from you all here, and I saw some really bad answers too. So what do you do now? And I'm going to be honest with you all. You do absolutely nothing. You just show them the thing. You literally have them listen to your song, use your app, whatever. Do not start telling them your life story or the problem you're solving. Don't be like, okay, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going, man? So basically, there is this big market for coffee. And, you know, the thing about our coffee is that it just comes from Algeria. And Algeria, let me tell you something about Algeria. The farms there, they roast the best beans. And you can see our cup too, our branding, our design. It's very specific, you know? And that's kind of like our style. You know, you don't want to do this, okay? Or you got an app. Don't be like, let me tell you about this problem that my app solves. So basically, Twitter sucks. I'm making a Web3 equivalent of Twitter. Like, don't do this, okay? Instead, have them just drink your coffee. Put your phone in their hand and say, okay, now use it. Essentially, just shut the fuck up and let them drive the car. A lot of times you all will think that you have to impress these people or you have to like make them like you. No, you don't need to do any of that. You need to shut the fuck up and let them drive the car. And the car is usually, you know, the thing that you're working on, you know? So again, just put your phone in their hand, put your app in their hand, put your website in their hand, if you're making music, put headphones in their ears. Just shut up. Just shut up, please. I meet a lot of, you know, what's funny at the IRL events, I meet a lot of build spacers and sometimes I'll meet that one person that just gives me their whole life story. And then I'm like, hey man, I don't care. Can you just show me what you're doing? And again, I think most people, and my mom included, my mom's the same way. My mom is always like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What are you doing? Just show me, you know? And then once I show my mom, it's pretty interesting what happens next, right? You'll notice that people will start doing stuff. You'll notice that once you show people stuff, they'll start asking you stuff. Very few people will sit completely silent and not do anything. Very few people. Someone may ask you, hey, what is this? For example, like I remember when I was first doing the homeschooling stuff with my mom, I would literally take my landing page. So for example, I would take my landing page and I would just say, Mama, do you have 5 minutes? My mom says, okay. And I sit her down and I just take my laptop and I put the landing page in front of her, right? And I literally just say, nothing. And then my mom will start scrolling, right? And then she'll ask me, right? She'll ask me something like, Farzan, yeah, what is this? You know? And essentially I would always respond the same way, which is like, Mama, just check it out. Like, what do you think it is? And I would have my mom explain to me what she thinks it is based off what I'm even showing her. So my mom will be like, okay, this is like a place where kids can get learning about math and science or something, you know? So again, like, it's cool. Like my mom now is vocalizing what she thinks it is. And that's pretty interesting because when people talk about what they think you're working on, that's important because that's what their brain innately thought that you were doing, what you're doing. So I remember with my website here, my mom always thought that this is where kids like got like online teachers, right? And like did online math classes, but it was nothing like that. Like what I was working on was this other thing. So I knew that I had some work to do, right? So it's like, okay, cool. You can learn a lot from this question. And again, a lot of people, when someone asks them, what is this? They'll say like, oh, like this is a platform for XYZ. Like, no, don't explain anything. Tell them to explain. Some people might say, you know, let's say you give them your app or you give them whatever, you give them your video, and they may ask like, what do you do? What do I do now? You don't tell them anything. You just tell them, yo, just try it out, go through it, click around, you know, and tell me if anything is confusing. And you can learn so much just by sitting there and watching what they're doing. Someone may say something like this, like, you know, in my opinion, I don't think anybody would ever check this out. You know, let's say that, you know, you give your you're making a song, right? Or you're making like a funny YouTube video. Let's say you're making a funny YouTube video and you show your funny YouTube video to your friend. And your friend or your mom or your dad, whatever, says, no one's going to check this out, man. This, in my opinion, I don't think anybody's going to care. Now, a lot of people, when they hear this, get really offended. And this is important. It's important to not get offended and instead just ask, oh, So you think my video's not that good. Why do you say that? What about the video isn't that good? Like, which part did you not like? Which part do you feel like the audience will not understand? Which part did you drop off on? You know what I mean? Like, you can be very just like straightforward with them and just very clean with them, you know, just get perspective from them. Again, I see a lot of people answer this question in the negative. They're like, you know what? I disagree. I think there's a big market for, you know, coffee. And I don't think you get it, man. You know what I mean? Like, don't be that person. Instead, just ask them like, hey, why? Like, why don't you like my video? Why don't you think that my app is going to be big? Whatever, right? Like, see what they say. Another thing a person may say is, isn't this the same thing as that other thing? I think a lot of you here are working on like AI apps. And I think a lot of your AI apps are really similar. Right. And I think that a lot of people get offended once again when they're compared to something else, or they feel like they feel like they feel like they gotta like argue that they're actually different. In reality, all you have to say is, like, for example, let's say someone walks up to me and says, oh, hey, Farza, you work on BuildSpace. Isn't BuildSpace like the same thing as like Lambda School? Isn't BuildSpace the same thing as like Stanford? Like, I don't get it, man. Like, what's the difference? Isn't this the same thing? Now, how do I respond to this? I just say, yeah, like it might be the same as Stanford. It might be the same as Lambda School. Why do you say that though? Like, what about, you know, BuildSpace reminds you of Stanford? What about BuildSpace reminds you of Lambda School? What about BuildSpace reminds you of like a boot camp? You know what I mean? Like, you can learn so much from those responses. So maybe that person says, oh, well, I thought that, you know, BuildSpace reminded me of Stanford because it looks like people take courses. And then it's like, what courses do you see on our landing page? And then they'll be like, I don't see any courses. I don't really get it, actually. Do you see what I mean? Like, throughout the conversation, the person themselves starts to tell you so much more about what they actually think. Because again, when you're first showing someone your idea or your app or your video, whatever, right? They're gonna just lie to you, or they're gonna just like, not lie to you in like a bad way, but they're gonna like want to be nice. Most people just want to be nice to you. And it's important that you just kind of remember that your job is to get deep into the why of their actions and their ideas. Okay. This is another thing someone might say. Someone might say, yo, Farza, I love this part of what you're working on. I love your landing page. I love this part of the song. I love this part of the video. I love this animation in your app, blah, blah, blah. And again, your job is not to sit there and say, hey, thanks, man. Glad you like it. Thanks, my friend. Appreciate the feedback. Love it. Yeah, it is pretty cool, huh? No, don't say that. Instead, you should just say, oh, you think that's cool, huh? Okay, cool. Like, but why though? Which part of that thing reminds you of something else? Like, what does it remind you of? Like, why is that cool? I didn't think that was that cool, to be honest. Like, but why do you think it's cool? And I think the thing I'm getting at here, as you can see, is like to start your question with why. And over time, you'll be so surprised the answers people decide to give you. And by the way, I get into this later, but I'm assuming that all of your feedback sessions happen either on a Zoom call or an IRL session, like someone in front of you. I generally never recommend like getting feedback through the DMs or getting feedback through, like, feedback should only happen on a call or with the person in front of you. That's kind of just my general advice. You know, someone might say something like this, like, hey, Farza, I'd rather do this other thing. You know, someone might, you know, I see this all the time with technology products where they say, hey, I'd rather do this other thing on your app, and I want this feature. Now, how many of you press 1 if someone's asked you to add a feature to your app? Like they asked for a feature. Like, I think most of us, like, or like you're working on a song and they ask for a change, or you're working on a video and they ask for a change. Like, they ask for some sort of change, right? I think almost all of you are going to say 1. Almost everybody has an opinion, you know, no matter who you are, my mom or your users, whatever, everybody's got an opinion and they're going to ask you. Now, here's what's important. And I think it's really hard to understand. When someone asks you for something to be added, don't just go and do it like blindly. Get deep into why they want that thing. At the end of the day, people don't truly know what they want, and it's up to you to ask them why they even want something. You know, I'm always really surprised where people ask me for feedback, and then I give them feedback, but they never ask me why. Like, they show me their app, and I say, actually, I want these 4 changes to the app. But no, they just write it down and they walk away. Like, they didn't even ask me why. Like, and it's your job to ask people like why they want that change, you know, because by asking why they want that change, you get deeper into their life and deeper into their ideas, you know? You know, one very small example with BuildSpace is like, we always had people say to us, like, I think you guys should do small Zoom session calls. Like, I want to be a deeper, I want to talk to people in smaller Zoom calls. Like, we've been getting that feedback for some time, right? But like, what's important is like understanding why now. Like, oh, like why? Is it because you don't feel like you're connected? Is it because, like, what do you want in those calls? Why do you want those calls? Do you expect people to give you feedback on those calls? Do you expect people to like do something for you on those calls? Why? And I think the most important question we always ask is like, are you already doing those calls yourself? If not, why not? Why are you yourself not putting in the effort to make those calls yourself? And again, like, as you get deeper into these questions, you get better answers. Because again, I think it'd be I think it'd be a mistake for you all to just take the feedback blindly and then implement it. Really think it through and ask yourself. Cool. And remember, your goal isn't to, this is so important because this is me. This slide is for me. I used to always take everything personally. Your goal isn't to walk away knowing if you have a good or bad idea. That's not what your goal is. Your goal isn't to walk away with your dad saying, hey son, good thing. Hey, good thing, man. Keep it up. Or your goal isn't for your mom to tell you, hey, it's a good idea. You know, like, your goal is for, you know, people to tell you why it was actually good. And your goal, or why it was bad. And your goal, remember your goal. Your goal is not even to interview people. Your goal is not to get feedback. Your goal is to get new insights. And again, you need to do these on a phone call or with people in front of you. I see a lot of people doing surveys and stuff. That stuff's fine, but the insights that you get from a 25-minute conversation with another human being who is drinking your coffee, using your app, watching your video, those insights are very hard to get from just like a survey. And I think insights lead you to new ideas that help you iterate. You know, whenever I'm really stuck with BuildSpace, I always do the same thing. I always get in a call with someone who really likes BuildSpace or someone who has a new idea for BuildSpace. And I love those calls because, like, those calls give me new ideas that generally help me get new ideas that help me iterate. Like, you don't need to iterate by yourself. You can actually iterate with your mom's feedback. You can actually iterate with your little brother's feedback. You can actually iterate with like someone who got on your wait list, get their feedback, you know? Like, feedback is everywhere. And general advice I want to give now, I've already said this many times on this session, but never ever ask things like, do you like this? Would you use this? Would you pay for this? Do you want to add this feature? If I added this feature, would you like it now? If I put this on another website, would you use it? Like, don't ask any of these types of questions. And let me tell you why. It's because people will just lie to you, and people don't know what they actually want, and you're just leading them on. Remember, most people are actually really nice. Like, most human beings are actually really nice. So if you say to them, hey, do you like this? They'll probably just say, yeah, I like this. It's cool. But that means nothing. Like, do you understand? Or, you know, maybe they say, hey, would you pay for this? And then they say, yeah, probably. Let me know when it launches. Yeah, let me know. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why these questions are so bad. It's because, like, it's very easy for people to just lie to you. I want to give you one more scenario here, a little bit of a shorter scenario. This is the second scenario. So remember, the first scenario we talked about was when you're showing your product to people who have no idea what you're doing. You're literally just taking your laptop and just putting it in their face. Or like you're taking your coffee and making them drink it. You're taking your app and making them use it, right? I want to give you another example here, scenario 2. I want to tell you how to talk to people who have already shown interest in what you're working on, which I think is a very different type of conversation. For example, maybe they signed up for your waitlist. Maybe they actually used your product. Maybe they actually listened to your song. Maybe they actually paid you money, right? First, and this is the most important thing that people always skip, make sure they actually did what they said they did. Anyone can say on Twitter, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm going to sign up. Press 1 if someone said that they were going to sign up and then they never signed up. Chances are almost all of you are going to press 1. I've done it myself. I've done it many times where I say, this is awesome. I love this. I would totally sign up. And then I never sign up. It is, this is an example of me lying, you know, like people will lie to you. That's what I mean. At the end of the day, like, this is not like a lie in the sense of like, they hurt you per se, but I did lie, right? I said that I was going to do something, but then I didn't do it. So what I generally like to say is lean on your analytics. Like, make sure that people actually did what they said they were going to do. Like, if they said they were getting on your wait list, make sure they actually got on your wait list. Like, check the data, you know? And second, remember, these people who have shown you interest will lead you astray if you don't ask the right questions. These people will gas you up. You know, they'll be like, love the song, love the video. Oh, this is such a cool product. Ah, man, this is game changer, you know? But again, your goal right now is simply to ask them the right questions so they don't lead you astray. And they don't make you get lost. Because I think a lot of people, they get high on their own supply and they think what they're working on is like fucking amazing. And then they end up working on something useless. I've been there. I've done the same thing. Your goal right now is not for them to say, I like X or I hate Z. It's actually get very deep into the why of why they don't like it. And again, I'm saying the same thing over and over again now, right? So I hope you guys are kind of getting what I'm trying to say. But the reason I have 2 scenarios, scenario 1 being like a person who has no idea what you're doing, and scenario 2 being people who have shown interest, is that the people who have shown interest in your idea or are using your idea or watched something that you did, I need you to remember, those people are kind of crazy. The people who sign up for like a product that has 0 people using it are crazy. The people who watch a video with like 5 views, they're crazy. Like, you should be extremely surprised that you got that initial group of people, because what is wrong with them? Like, where did they come from? Your head should be spinning with questions. Who the fuck is this person? What's their history? Are there others like them? Where? I remember when we first started BuildSpace, we got like 100 people to join our Discord server in like the first day, right? And that was all. Like, after it was the first 100. And I remember we were just so surprised. We were like, who the fuck are these people? We put our detective hats on. Is there a hat somewhere I got? You know, we put our detective hats on, you know? And we started being like, yo, who are these people? Where did they come from? Did their friends tell them about them? Like, you know, what do they want from BuildSpace? And over time, we learned that most of these kids were college students. At the earliest part of BuildSpace, it was mostly college students. And again, we learned very quickly, like, why college students were interested. Like, most of them, you were using BuildSpace as a way to make side projects so they could add it to their resume and get internships. You know what I mean? Like, that was 2 years ago. And but again, we learned that by actually asking these people. And yeah, this is a Spectre Seek hat, by the way. Anyone Spectre Seek? We have one for every house. So let me tell you a couple of bad questions. Okay, yeah, I got my detective hat on. Let me tell you some bad questions. Let's say that let me just set the scene, actually, right? So let's say that, you know, you got on a call with someone who signed up for your wait list, or you got on a call with someone who used your app or listened to your song, or, you know, maybe you got someone in front of you who used your app and they just used it, right? What do you do now? What kind of questions do you ask them? And I think this is generally where you got to ask them some questions, right? This is a very bad question. What do you think about my idea? This is the most classic question that every fucking person in Nights and Weekends asks me. Like, hey, Farza, what do you think about my idea? What the fuck? What do I know about your idea? I don't know anything. I'm an idiot. Like, what do you mean? What do I think about your idea? Let me ask you. A better question is like, Farza, why did you sign up? Like, let me explain to you, or let your user explain to you why they signed up. Right? So maybe they'll say, I signed up because I liked your song. I signed up because, you know, that feature that you have, it solves this problem that I have today. Or, you know, I signed up because it reminded me of this other product that I use. Or I signed up because, like, you know, I subscribed because your videos remind me of Michael Reeves. Your videos remind me of Smosh. You know, you never know what people might say. So you just ask them, like, why? What happened here? Bad question. Would you use my app every day? This is so cringe, but because like I used to always ask this question to people. Back when I used to work on social media apps, and this was my question I would ask users, and I would be like, hey, would you use my app every day? And then they would give me the stupidest answer always, like, yeah, probably. And I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. And I used to be like, oh my God, nice. That's awesome. They're going to use my app. And then they never use my app. You know what I mean? Instead, what apps do you use every day? Why? You know, like, have them explain to you what their habits are already, you know? Bad question. Hey, do you have any improvements or feature requests for me? Terrible question. Absolutely terrible question. Instead, hey, what's a similar artist you listen to? What stands out about them? Hey, what's a similar app that you use to my app? What stands out about that app? And what's cool about this question is you learn from what other people already like. Like, you don't want them to just say, oh, hey, Farza, I want you to add this button or this bass drop. Instead, you should learn from what they already are doing, what they're already liking, what they're already enjoying. What's a similar app you use? What stands out about it, you know? So for example, like if I'm working on a brand new social media app and I'm trying to figure out some new features I should add, what's a cool one is like, I'll ask someone like, hey, like what social media do you use right now? They'll maybe say Twitter. Oh, okay. What's your favorite feature about Twitter? And maybe they say, I don't know, my favorite feature is the quote retweet. And then you ask them, oh, like, why do you like the quote retweet? I like the quote retweet because, you know, it lets me, you know, respond to other people's opinions. Oh, so like you like responding to other people's opinions. Why? I like to respond to other people's opinions because then over time I can build up, I can create like a discourse online about a topic I care about. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the real thing that your user wants. They want to have discourse about something that they care about. And I guess like that's like one example of how you can ask questions in a way and get new ideas about stuff that you want to add without asking them what you want to add. Hope that made sense. I know I kind of went through that a little quickly there. But if you didn't get that, it's okay. Messed it up a little bit. Another bad question. Would you pay me money for this? Better question. This costs oh, sorry. Bad question. Would you pay me money for this? Horrible question. The worst fucking question of all time. Better question. Hey, this costs $9. Do you want to pay now? Give me your credit card. And you know what happens next? Either the person says yes or the person says nah. You know what I mean? So it's like another better question. If you like, let's say this is too scary for you, right? Let's just say you're too shy. Another better question. Do you pay for something like this that's similar right now? Like, why? You know what I mean? And I think you'll learn a lot from this question as well. By the way, just for some context, the point of this question is not to actually get money. The point of this question is like, they'll most likely say no. And it's important to understand why they say no. So for example, a lot of people ask me all the time, this costs $9, want to pay right now? I'll say for 99% of products, I'll say no, but then I'll tell them why. And it's important that you learn from that why. Same thing here, you know, like if you're building a note-taking app, the best way to ask them if they're even going to pay is like, do you already pay for a note-taking app today? Maybe they just don't. Maybe they've never paid for a note-taking app in their life. So why the fuck would they pay for your note-taking app, you know? Ask them questions that get them thinking plus explaining what's in their head. Okay? This is like screenshot this and think about this whenever you want to get feedback from other people about your idea. Ask them questions that get them thinking plus explaining what's in their head. That's it. I'm gonna take a little water break. Does this make sense, everybody? Hope this helps. Again, we've never done a session like this at BuildSpace, so I hope this helps. Okay, let's move on. I want to give you some very basic rules that you can follow, that I follow. So these are rules that I follow. Number one, never ask leading questions. Never ask questions like, what do you like about this? What's wrong? What's bad? What's wrong about that question? What do you like about this? What's wrong with that question is it already assumes that they like something about it. Do you know when you go to a restaurant and they say, is everything tasting good? You know, like the waiter comes up to you and says, is everything tasting good? That's like a very leading question. It's actually a bad question. Instead, a different question would be like, what's a better question there actually? Help me out, chat. What's a better question instead for the waiter or waitress? Instead of, do you like the food? How's it taste? Do you need more water? How's everything tasting? You know, my favorite question that I actually like, it was only one waiter ever asked me. It was at the Cheesecake Factory. And they said, what's your favorite part about this meal right now? What's the part that you're kind of like, you don't really like it as much? And I actually love that question because it's like, it gives me room to kind of roast them. It says, people even ask me the question like, how's it taste? Like, it's actually such a bad question because like, I'll be nice. I'll be like, it tastes good. You know what I mean? Instead of just having like a slightly different question, which gives the user or the person some room to criticize you and to give you some room to actually like, give you how they really feel. You know, even just saying, hey, look, like, I see you eating that food right there. It looks like you're liking it, but do you actually like it? Like, why? Like, what's your favorite part? And what's the part that you don't like? Like, and tell me why. You know, like, those are actually much better questions that are going to give you much better feedback, right? Yeah. You know, if I ran a restaurant, I would be asking those questions every fucking day to my customers. I'll just always be trying to get them to roast me. But again, don't ask leading questions. I want you to make it about their life. Don't make it about your project. Don't make it about, you. This is about them. It's about their habits, their experience. And it's your goal to actually gain insights on how to use those things to improve your own idea. And again, really think about that restaurant example. Like really think, like most restaurants will just say to you, do you like the food? But think about how bad of a question that is. Think about how that gives you no room to really, like, how many of you, just press 1 right now. If you've been to a restaurant, someone said, the waiter asks to you, is the food all right? And then you said, yeah, it's good, but you actually didn't like it that much, or you found problems with it. That's a perfect example of like, you just being too nice. And my dad's the type of guy to be like, actually, this fucking sucks. And he'll just start roasting them. But again, my dad is kind of like a more aggressive guy, but I'm a lot nicer, I'll just be like, oh yeah, like it tastes good. It tastes fine. People don't like conflict. Yeah. So again, really think about that example. I don't know, even just asking the question, like, what do you think that tastes like? Like, what does the taste remind you of? You know what I mean? Like that's actually a really good question too. Like if I ate like a dish and the waiter asks me, what does the dish remind you of? Does it taste like something you've had before? And just starting some like conversation about it almost. Again, like the waiter's job is just to give me food. So it's not their job to figure out my life story, right? So I'm not trying to make waiters do more work, but yeah. Yeah, most waiters probably don't care. Again, it's just an example. All right, guys, chill. Keep it casual. Don't make it an interrogation. I think a lot of you all will like start interrogating people. Like you'll put your app in their face, you give them their video, and you'll be like, what do you think? What's your problem? Why do you like blah, blah, blah? And you make it like an interrogation, let them do 80% of the talking. There was this app that I used to use on Zoom. Like on Zoom, you can add certain apps. And one of my favorite apps was this app that told you what percent of time you were talking and what percent of time the other person was talking. And for me, if I was talking more than 20% of the time, I consider that like a loss by me. It means I just talk too much. You need to let the other person do 80% of the talking. A lot of you all will just get into pitch mode, or a lot of you all will start to get into like defense mode, and that's important to not do. You know, my learning, once again, do these feedback sessions in Zoom calls, on a video chat, or as an IRL session. 70% of you, I think, will shy away from calls, and I think you'll regret it. You know, I think a lot of you have like maybe 10 people on your wait list right now. Like, go email them right now, literally email them right now, like all of your people who signed up, everybody who signed up, and say, yo, you want to get in a call with me? I want to talk to you about why you like my work. A lot of you will not do that. You'll just be kind of shy about it, you know? But I think you'll regret that. So don't regret it. And just send that email to everybody right now. Like, what's stopping you? How do you convince people to get on a call? You don't convince them at all. I think most people are actually pretty nice. If someone emails me and I use their products and they say, hey, like, I see you using my product, or I see you sign up for my wait list. Like, you want to hop on a call with me to like tell me more? I'm trying to learn more. Again, I know them that they're not trying to sell me. They just want to get some feedback. So that's it. Give them a cookie. Yeah. If you get on a call with me and we meet one day, I'll give you a cookie. I booked that call all day. And remember, the goal of the call is just to have a fun conversation. It's not to like get feedback per se. And I want to do like a live example with you here real quick with my friend Josh here. Hey, Josh, you want to come up? Take a seat, bro. Oh, that's crazy, bro. Okay. Let me give you the detective hat. Actually, I wear the detective hat. Actually, yeah. Okay, sorry. My bad, bro. All right, Josh, I'm going to show you this song that I'm working on, Me and My Friend. And I want you to tell me what you think. Okay?
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right, so it's this right here.
Yo, what's up, Build Space? I'm Kat. I produce electronic music, and for Nights and Weekends Season 4, I've been working on a melodic bass EP. Last week, I showed you guys some ideas for the first track for the EP, and this week, my friend Vance and I have been cooking up some ideas for the second track. And I'm warning you, it's a little heavier, so let me know what you guys think.
All right, Josh, that's the song I'm working on with my friend here. What do you think? Actually, no, just to start, like, just give me your opening thoughts, man.
I would play this in my car on the way home.
What kind of music do you play in your car usually?
I usually play like hip hop. Right now, I'm really big into EDM, so this is actually like perfect.
Do you got music like this in your playlist right now, like on Spotify?
I do. Stop put me on Fred again, so it kind of reminds me of Fred again.
Oh, really? Like Fred again?
Yeah.
What about this song reminds you of Fred again?
Just the abstract of it, and it's just like, you know, just the beats hitting your face, like.
So, like, you know, me and my friend we're working on this song. How do you usually follow artists like this?
I usually find new artists on like stuff like TikTok or Instagram Reels. Yeah.
I guess, like, how do you like stay in touch with them, right? Because, like, you know, when you find new artists, how do you generally like stay in touch with them or keep track of their new songs, etc.?
Oh, I would hit that follow button right away. If I find new artists, I'm like, oh, I'm following this person.
Where do you usually follow the artists?
Instagram.
Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay. Why Instagram?
That's where I usually be at. And yeah. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
We'll do more later. Okay, cool, everyone. That's an example of like a 2-minute interview where, you know, by the way, guys, this is not my song. This is Kat, and I'm just pretending right now that I'm working on this song along with Kat. What's really important about what I just did is I learned so much new stuff. One, I learned, wow, he thinks that Kat sounds like Fred again. Two, he actually likes to follow artists on Instagram, but this is Twitter. This is not Instagram. So, hey, maybe we should put this on Instagram. I learned that he would put this on in his car. Okay, cool. He put this on in his car. Maybe I should make a playlist called Car Vibes and then put like 10 songs in that playlist and also put my song in that playlist and send it to Josh. You know what I mean? Like, these are examples of how you can get new insights when you have a conversation with people. Now, again, that was a very quick version that I just did, but it's just one example. Let's do another one here. I'm going to get like somebody else here from the back. Erwan. All right, I'm just going to call Erwan real quick, and I'm going to get his feedback on this other idea. What's up, Erwan? Take a seat, bro.
Yeah, thanks. So
you have no idea what's going on, right? Okay, cool. So take a seat. I'm going to show you a video. This is something me and my friends are working on. Okay. It's a newsletter, and that's all I'm going to say right now. Okay. So let me show you.
Hi, BuildSpace. So this week's assignment for BuildSpace is to launch. It's also to get people to care about our product. So we've already seen our website, which we launched last week. You've seen our YouTube page, our Instagram, our TikTok, all kinds of stuff, our YouTube channel. So we wanted to introduce you to our newsletter. So this is a preview of the welcome email that we're going to be sending out to folks. Obviously, it's got a couple of our top episodes, a quick introduction into 4040 Vision Media and our message. It's got a link to some of our platforms. We're on a ton of platforms for the actual podcast.
All right, Erwan. So tell me, what do you? So you have to talk to the mic directly. Okay. So what do you think this is?
I guess that's a newsletter about sports that's linked to a website that talk about sport differently somehow. Yep.
Okay, so it's a newsletter about sports.
Yep.
Do you follow sports right now?
Yeah, mainly on Instagram actually. Mainly on Instagram, like with reels.
So like what kind of sports do you usually follow?
Mainly basketball content, yeah.
So you follow basketball?
Yep.
What's like the top way that right now you stay on top of like the latest basketball, like the latest on basketball?
It will either be on Instagram with reels, short videos about the news or funny videos, or either like Twitter.
So you literally follow basketball by watching Instagram reels?
Yep.
Do you follow any newsletters with sports in them?
None of them.
Do you follow like Bleacher Report, ESPN, anything like that?
No.
Why?
I kind of like that's too much focused content. I prefer like having light content about sports.
Okay. So you don't want like a deep analysis?
Yeah.
So do you feel like this project I'm working on with my friend here, do you feel like it's like more deeper analysis?
I kind of feel so. For just myself, a newsletter will not be something that I will use to get information about sport, actually.
Do you use any newsletters right now? Feel free to talk into the mic direct.
I use newsletter, but more about tech content, so not sport content.
Okay, so what kind of tech newsletters do you follow?
There is the TLDR one that just summarize.
Wait, which one?
TLDR.
TLDR?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just summarizes like any news about tech in like 2 minutes. So I just open the newsletter and it takes me like 2 minutes to get kind of all the news that happened that day. Yeah.
So that's interesting. You like TLDR for tech because it's kind of light, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like lighter tech news.
Exactly.
And you feel like what we're building here, like me and Khalid, you think that it's kind of like a little more intense.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Also, where's your accent from for the chat?
Oh, shit. From France.
France represent. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, bro.
Bye.
All right, cool. So that is just another example now of what we just did. Like Erwan feels like he does not like this newsletter, but we learned why. He feels like this newsletter is really intense and he wants more lighter content. He wants like more like TLDR type stuff. He doesn't want like, he feels like this is like a more deep analysis about sports. And maybe it's not, right? But to him, when he saw this, he felt like it was a deeper analysis. So, you know, what's an iteration of this? Well, for the next iteration, what we can do is we can maybe frame it as something a little bit lighter. Because again, he says that I get most of my news about sports from Instagram Reels, you know, but he still uses newsletters. So you all see what I mean here? You see, like, I just want to make sure I'm not crazy. Like, do you see how I learned something new from him? How I learned that he actually doesn't really like my newsletter, but I also learned why. He told me why. He told me it's because, you know, by talking to him, I learned that it looks too complicated, man. I use Instagram Reels, but I do use newsletters today. It's not like I don't use newsletters, but I generally only use newsletters for more like lighter stuff. So my next iteration of this might be like to kind of change the tagline, like, you know, 60-second bites about basketball. You know what I mean? And I think if I showed Erwan that, I think he would like that more. Let's do one more here. I'm gonna get Merry Chris. 1 second. Okay, Mary Chris, take a seat. Welcome.
Hi.
You have no idea what's going on right now, right?
No.
Okay, great. So basically, me and my friend, we are working on this app. Her name is Julia. We're working on this app that makes it easier to do yoga at home and gives you better feedback about yoga. So I guess I won't say much more. I'm going to show you what we're working on and I want your thoughts, okay?
Cool.
And by the way, it's going to be like really low volume, so you got this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Last week I talked to you about the computer vision program that gives the real-time feedback for those doing yoga at home. Have a look at this toy to see how it actually works.
Straighten your back, honey. Move your palms further to the front. Bend your left knee a bit more.
Cool.
Okay. Oh, shit. All right, cool. So I won't show you much more, but off the bat, like, what do you think? Like, if you had to describe to me what it is, what is it? You have to talk in the mic, by the way.
Yeah, it is a tool that will help me do yoga better.
Okay. Do you do yoga today?
Yes, I do.
So like, where do you do yoga right now? Like at your house, at a class?
Yeah, at Core Power Yoga class.
So you take a class?
Yes.
So like at the class, is there a teacher that tells you how to do stuff better or?
Oh my gosh, no, they don't.
What?
They barely do. Sometimes when I'm sitting in the back, I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing, and I probably am. So yeah.
Interesting. Do you ever do yoga at home?
I don't.
Why do you only do yoga at the class instead of at home?
Because I like the hot yoga feel.
Oh, okay. So you do it like with a lot of other stuff happening. Okay. Do you do any exercises at home at all?
No.
Interesting. Cool. How did you learn how to do yoga better when you were first starting? If the teacher doesn't give you feedback, like how do you actually get better? Like how do you make sure you're doing it properly today, or do you not?
I think I looked up YouTube videos, and the very first classes I took without hot yoga, it was just regular yoga. They walked you through it. It was a smaller class.
I see. And where did you do those YouTube videos?
Oh yeah, at home. a long
Okay.
time ago.
So basically you did those a long time ago at your house when you were first learning.
When I was poor and I couldn't afford classes.
Okay, when you were poor. Okay. Is yoga expensive?
Yeah, it is. I feel like
How expensive is it? Like is it like more than like $10 a month?
for the hot yoga, it's like
Okay.
100.
So basically like you would do yoga at your house really early on when you had no money and you would try to get better by actually like going through like YouTube videos.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right, Mary Chris, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Bye.
All right, cool. So we learned a lot of new stuff there, actually. We learned that, you know, Mary Chris initially said she never did yoga at home, but, you know, we keep talking to her and you learn that, oh, wow. She did learn yoga somewhere. She learned it from YouTube, right? And then she would do those YouTube videos at home and she herself would try to figure out if she was doing it right. You see what I mean? And I think that what's beautiful about what Julia is building here is how we can iterate on this is essentially, a good way to iterate on this is maybe make it more obvious that it's not just a way to get feedback, but maybe on the left, you could have a YouTube video, like a tutorial, and on the right, you get feedback. So that way, it's not just purely a feedback tool, right? And then maybe we show it to Mary Chris again, and we say, hey, Mary Chris, do you want to try out doing this and learn new yoga positions? We have a tutorial for you, and we have real-time feedback for the yoga. That's like an iteration on it, right? Because right now, it didn't like exactly, like Mary Chris kind of liked it, but she didn't like certain parts of it. You know what I mean? So I think it's so interesting that like Mary Chris loves yoga, but she didn't immediately understand how to use this herself because she's like, I don't do yoga at home. So again, that's another example of like an iteration, you know. That's an example of how you can actually talk to someone in front of you and get these insights out of them. It is really hard though. Like what I'm doing right now is it takes a long time to get good at. And I think it's just a matter of starting with the why. So again, with Yulia here, I think what I would do next is I would probably make it a lot more obvious that this is not just a way to practice yoga, but a way to learn new positions maybe. And then really show it and market it to people who are potentially trying to learn new positions, you know? Because Mary Chris sounds like she already kind of knows her stuff a little bit. Maybe this is more for newbies, you know? So that's a cool learning. All right, let's do another one. Let's do a podcast. I'm gonna get Rox here. Hey, Rox. Let's go. All right, we got Rox here. Rox, just close that door when you're behind you. Take a seat, Rox. Do you know what's going on right now?
What's up, Build Space? It's your boy, Rox.
All right, hey. All right.
What's happening?
All right, cool. So, Rox, I'm going to show you a podcast I'm working on with my friend, and I just want you to kind of watch it and kind of let me know the beginning part of it, and I just want you to let me know what you think. You know, I'll show you a little bit of it right now. So this is the tweets, the initial tweets. You can read it. And by the way, I'm going to play the audio. It's going to be kind of low for you, but try your best. Ready?
Yeah.
I'd almost felt like, oh, I had just followed through on my parents' plan for me my whole life. Is everything meant to happen for a reason? No, I fundamentally disagree with that. Like I work my tail off because I want to show them that like I'm worth it. When you're doing actual engineering work, you can make a difference. That's the motivation that gets me excited and gets me passionate about the work I do.
Welcome to the first official episode of the Inspo Brew.
Okay, Rox. So that's what I'm working on with my friend Julia. What do you think this is? If you're speaking the mic directly.
Okay, hello. What do I think this is? I guess, well, it's called the Inspo Brew. So I'm assuming that this is supposed to inspire me to go do cool stuff with my life.
Do you need inspiration? Like where do you get inspiration from right now, you think?
I think I read a lot of stuff, or I look at what other people do really often, and I take a lot of inspiration learning from other people in like small ways, like a lot of scrolling on Twitter, seeing what other people are doing, reading like blog posts and things. I used to listen to How I Built This all the time. That was probably like my most listened to podcast, which is like, this is giving me a little bit of that vibe, which is pretty hype. Yeah.
What podcast do you listen to? Have you listened to like the last month?
Oh God, I haven't listened to a podcast in the last month. Yeah.
Why? Like, because you used to, right? So what happened or what changed?
I feel like my brain has deteriorated to the point where I can't watch an hour of anything successfully. So like even audiobooks are rough right now. So I got to the point where I'm just like, okay, I can do a blog post or like an article, or I'll get a lot of podcast clips. Like I'll probably watch shorts of podcast clips a lot more than I'll watch a full podcast these days. Yeah. And usually that's nice because it pulls out like the really strong parts and just like gives you the lesson, gives you the straightforward idea.
So for our first guest, we had someone who worked at Tesla, right? What's something you'd want to know from someone who worked at Tesla? Like what's like a podcast clip that you'd want to like learn more from?
Ooh, I think this is tough because it depends on who your audience is, right? Like if you want to talk to guys like me, I chase my dreams every day, all of these things. It can feel a little tough to relate to people who are working like your average full-time job, or like, I guess not average, but like even big tech jobs is not necessarily super relatable. But a lot of the time, for this example, for me personally, within a company like that, your team can be like a mini startup, and there could be a lot of like interesting problem solves.
Oh, yeah.
And I think understanding how everybody solves
yeah.
problems is like a thing you can always relate to.
Yeah, because for me, like, I don't really relate much to the person who works at Tesla because I don't really care, you know? Like, you just work at Tesla. But I think that's cool, though. It's like, what team were you on? Like, how did you make some, like, piece of it work, right? Because Tesla's a big company, but it's like, hey, I'm the person that made, like, the auto park. And, like, this is, like, that podcast about that, you know, versus, like, a more widespread thing. Yeah. And I guess, like, do you generally look up to people who work in, like, big tech, or, like, you think they're, like, cool, like, different, or, like, what do you think about them in general? Like, what comes to your mind when you think about people who work at, like, the Teslas, the Googles, the et cetera?
Oh, damn. All right. My fully honest opinion is I was that guy, and therefore, like, that is an average person in my world. Like, I worked at Microsoft and I worked at Facebook, so I'm like, yes, this is every person I went to college with. Like, yes, this is one of the other 3,000 Facebook interns.
When do you feel like you stopped caring, or where it became less interesting to you?
The moment I went to Facebook day one and they said, you are a part of a class of 3,000 interns, and I was like, oh God, I felt like the Buzz Lightyear meme where it's like, I am unique, and no, I'm not. Like, I'm just another guy.
And then how old were you?
I was, for Facebook, I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing, dude. Thank you so much. Good luck on the rest of your day.
Good luck, nice weekends.
All right. So we just got a lot of good stuff there. I think I got two main learnings here, right? The very first learning I had for Julia is, the very first learning I had is, like, Rox really cared about this world back when he was like 20, 21, 22-ish. You know what I mean? Like, I think similarly, like, when I was in college, I really thought that if you work for Google, that you were like that was awesome. And I'm not saying it's not awesome, but I just thought back when I was much younger, like 19, 20, 21, I thought it was really, really cool. So again, maybe that's kind of interesting. It's like a learning, right? It's like, oh, like, maybe that's my target audience, like college students. Okay, that's cool. Learning number one, I kind of make it more obvious that this is for college students. Learning number two I had is that, you know, instead of just talking about someone like they're just a Tesla intern, maybe giving some more information about, like, what's, like, maybe making it more obvious, like, what this is going to be about and why it's interesting, right? So it's like, okay, he worked at Tesla, but, like, did he work on a specific piece of it? Did he work on a specific team? Is he going to talk about his learnings? You know what I mean? Making that more obvious, even from this tweet. You know what I mean? Even from this tweet. So overall, pretty cool. You know, it's kind of funny, like, even while I was talking to Rox, I realized, because, for example, I would likely not listen to this podcast, but if this podcast was about how this dude worked on the auto park system, I would listen to that podcast. Because, again, I as far as that, at 28 years old, working at BuildSpace, I don't care about the person who interned at Tesla, but I do kind of want to know more about how they built certain things. You know what I mean? So again, you can kind of, like, learn from that feedback, because, hey, maybe a college student just wants to know general advice on how that person got to Tesla, right? So you have to kind of balance your different audiences and know what to do next. But all right, cool. Was that helpful, guys? 1 to 10. Is this helpful? Like, just seeing me go through this? I hope it is. I hope it's at least like a 7. 10. Cool. Okay, let's do one more. You want to be Rox's friend? If you want to be Rox's friend, let me show you how to do it. You're gonna go type in Rox. I think it's Rox codes, and you're gonna say, "I wanna be your friend." And bada bing. Well, that's it. Okay, cool. Let's do one more here. I'm gonna get one more person here. Esther. Hey, Esther. All right, here's Esther. Esther, please close the door. Take a seat, Esther.
What's up, fam?
Okay, cool. I'm going to show you something here, and I want to get your take on what we're building, okay? I'm working on it with my friend, and it's pretty cool. Maybe you already saw it, actually. But let me just show you, okay? It's going to be, the volume might be kind of low.
Okay.
So.
Hey, how's it going, BuildSpace? This is my slide deck, an indoor soilless vertical farm that can grow all of your veggies right in your living room. And this is my toy. So, how does this guy actually work? Well, let me show you. It's actually very simple. Water inside this bucket is infused with rich nutrient minerals that are being constantly pumped to the plants. The water constantly goes up through this vertical plant and being dispersed at the top. Water then falls down all the way and touches the root of.
Okay, so you kind of got the idea, right?
Yep.
What do you think that is? Like, if you'd explain it to me one more time, like in your own words, talking to Mike directly.
Ooh, all right. I feel like it's a indoor garden, bro. Vertical plants, beautiful.
Is it a vertical farm? Is it a vertical farm?
I think it's more of a vertical planter. You know, it's like a planter box that you can, you know, put multiple things in. Very clean, very nice. I love the Home Depot bucket.
Do you have plants at your house?
I do, honestly. And I love hydroponic gardening because it's just cleaner than dirt. I have dirt everywhere and I have carpets and the dirt doesn't go out. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Do you like grow plants that you eat at your house?
Absolutely. You know,
Really?
like,
What kind of plants?
dang it, far as you know what kind
No,
of.
I literally actually don't know what
okay.
kind of plants.
Sorry, bro.
I'm like not pretending.
Okay. Cucumbers, tomatoes. We also grow thyme, rosemary, sage.
But at your house?
Oh yeah, in my house, honestly, just like mostly green scallion.
Okay.
That's like the main one. That's the main, I guess.
So if me and my friend here, you know, sold this to you, what would you want to like grow in it particularly?
This was definitely looking like more of a herb garden, which is very practical, you know?
Like spices?
Yeah, like, you know, have your thyme, have your green onions, have your cilantro, a nice little herby for all of the zestiness for your meals.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how much do you think this costs?
I would say like 150. I've seen them for like one that's as tall as me go for like 600. So yeah, yeah.
Have you ever used a hydroponic farm in your house?
I have not actually. I'm really interested in buying one. So if you make one, like I'll buy it. I'm first on that list.
For real?
Dips. Yeah.
Could I get your credit card information right now?
Yo.
Actually?
Yo, actually.
For real? Yeah, give it to me. I'll give it to him right now.
Okay. All right. Like.
For real?
Yo, I mean.
$150?
Yeah. Okay.
Like right now?
Yeah. Don't.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
we're good.
Good. Anyways, yeah. I'll pre-order it.
Okay, cool.
Nice. So.
Good save there, Esther. Actually, maybe just cancel that card. Hey, all right, peace. All right, cool. So we learned a lot from Esther there. We learned that she sees this as a place to grow herbs. You know, when I first saw this idea, I thought like it's like a thing to grow lettuce. So it's kind of interesting. I thought it was just a place to grow lettuce, but now we have Esther here, and she says that it's a place to grow like you know, herbs. So that's pretty cool. Cool. So that's that. I hope that helped everyone. And by the way, everyone that we brought up here, they're all in BuildSpace SF1. So they're our full-time. These were all our full-time students. And then we also had Josh, Mary, Chris, who actually work for us directly. They're my coworkers. But yeah, just to give you an idea of what the vibes here at BuildSpace are every day, it's like that. And I want to give you all a book recommendation real quick. I'm going to put it in the Discord right now. 1 second. So this is a book recommendation. Let me pull up Discord. This is probably one of the most impactful books that I've ever read. Can anyone guess the book I'm about to say? Because it's a very popular book. The Mom Test. Bada bing. Okay, cool. I'm glad some of you already know it. I'm going to post it right now here at the bottom. Okay, cool. Just posted it in the Nights and Weekends channel. So yeah, there it is. I give you all the free version of it. I'm not sure if this is legal. I have no idea. But go ahead here. It's like a very short book. It's like a 2-hour. It's like a 2-hour read of a book, and it's just extremely helpful. I would at least read pages 8 to page 22. So like page 8 to page 22. Again, it's not that long, and it kind of covers everything I talked about today in a really straightforward way. But yeah, that's one of my favorite books actually to read. I read that book maybe once every year or two, and you're never too good for it. It's called The Mom Test. You can also buy it from Amazon. If you like more physical books, you can buy it. But again, it's also free as a PDF. Again, no idea if it's legal. I just Googled it and it was there. By the way, just a note, IRL for S4 is already bigger than S3. It's first come, first serve, so please RSVP as soon as you can. buildspace.so/S4/IRL. Hope to see you there. And lastly, update number 4 is due Monday at 11:59 p.m. PT. This update is a little bit more involved, so please make some extra time for it. You can go and the update. I recommend going to the update right now and just scrolling through what you need. Again, you have to link a launch with what you created this week. You have to share a 90-second progress video. Now, very important here, this progress video is just a loom that only we see. This is not something you post to your socials, unless you want to. But this is more so just for us to understand what you created, what you measured, what you learned, and what you launched. We want to know what you're tracking. And we also ask you this question now, like what you're tracking and what your numbers are. So for example, if you're tracking money, like how much money do you make? If you're tracking usage, how many unique people do you have using the thing, etc. And then finally, you have to submit proof of what you are building, or a proof of your numbers. And that's it. It's actually a very straightforward a weekly update, but I recommend you just skim through it right now to get an idea of what you got to submit. And that's it, everybody. A little bit of a long session, but I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much. We'll see you around. And when's the next one? Tuesday. And Tuesday, we're going to be talking about how to grow your work, and which is a very different skill. How to grow your work is like how to get even more people interested and involved once you've kind of like used your existing channels. All right, everybody. That's all I got. Thank you so much. And I got to chat with Esther real quick to make sure her credit card is okay. Bye.
It's never too late to step out from the circle. I don't see where it ends. It just keeps dragging. I won't stop running. It won't stop coming. You're the one who drags me down.